Hi and welcome to this week's Biz Babble. This week I'm joined by the founders of Comb, Liam and Moeez. Hi guys.
Hi.
Comb is a fantastic app which a lot of women seem to be leaning on quite heavily. I'll let the lads tell you a bit more before we jump deep into their story.
Yeah, Liam will tell you a bit about it.
Yeah, so Comb's a mobile fashion app. We launched around 7 months ago. We've had quite a quick uptake, which is nice, predominantly female, about 40,000 users. So yeah, Comb is a mobile fashion app. It allows you to search over 2 million products all within one place. So high street, top shops, Boohoo's, all the way up to sort of Prada, Chanel. So you got the full range there. We allow users to, I guess the cool feature is that you can take a picture and then find something similar. So if I like your jacket, I can take a picture, obviously.
Take a picture after this,
and find something similar. But you can also follow what your friends are saving. So a bit like Pinterest, you can, if you've saved that jacket and haven't bought it yet, I can see that on my feed. So it's good for bloggers. They can create their wish lists and I can follow what they're saving.
So what you've modestly said, it is a woman's best friend. Which
we hope
is,
so. Men as well. It caters to men just as much.
I'm not sexist here. It is a pretty cool app. I've had a little play on it on my sister's phone, and like you guys showing your demo, you're taking a picture of I think what a dress Taylor Swift is wearing.
Yeah.
And it shows all the similars. So it's like the Daily Mail, but like with better options.
Yeah. So what it does is, going back to the 2 million products kind of thing, is that right now there's apps either focus on the high end of the market or the high street side of the market. So if I want to shop products from like ASOS and Boohoo, but I also want to see like the more designer stuff, I'd have to download like 3 or 4 apps. Whereas because you've got everything in one place, you can take a picture of a dress Taylor Swift is wearing, which is likely to be expensive or designer, and then it gives you 30 results, all from different price points. And then so you have quite a wide selection to choose from.
Well, having met you guys recently at Fashion Week and kind of getting to know you guys, you two are so clearly, obviously, massively into fashion. No, but not in a nasty way, as in you don't strike me as the obvious candidates to kind of delve into this kind of market. In the nicest possible way.
No. We embrace that, yeah.
We actually look at it as a positive, because we're not going in with the misconceptions of the industry.
You're objective.
So we've gone in and sort of looked at why isn't it this way or why is it not that way. So we don't have any sort of preconceptions of how it should be. We've kind of just gone in there and hopefully disrupting it a little bit by having everything in one place.
Yeah, it's one of everyone shops, everyone wears clothes, right? So that's a pretty basic thing to address. Anyone can address. Obviously, we did consult relevant people before. We didn't just build it and then we're like,
Yeah, it's cool because, it's weird because you kind of expect people from this background. Your background is it's not directly with fashion or tech, is it? It's kind of a little bit more broad and a bit.
Well, personally, my background is social media.
Yeah.
So I knew that if you look at Facebook, they don't create their own content. Like Airbnb, they don't create their own hotels or like accommodation. So we just wanted to make a marketplace where there was all the brands and then you have the users who are saving the products and creating the content for you, or creating the content for their followers, as opposed to just simply us telling people what to wear. We're completely staying away from that. It's it's a bit of a saturated to a certain extent, and also we don't have the credibility to necessarily do that.
That's pretty. Because Mo, you were working over in New York for a startup, if I heard correctly.
Yeah.
And it was your idea, Liam, right? Your brain.
It was around about 2.5 years ago, where I was running a social media agency.
Okay.
And on Twitter, there's all these people talking about, I want to buy this, or I want to get red hair dye, or I want this, but they're having all these conversations on social networks, but weren't buying. So, why couldn't we create the social experience, but for shopping? So this is like 2.5 years ago. And it's from there that the idea started coming about. There's a nice website in America called Fancy, which I was a massive fan of. And it was from that the idea started to spark that you could have a bit of a cross between social and shopping.
When we first started this, it was nothing like what it is today. So, he rang me up in New York, and he was just saying all this stuff like, I've seen this on Twitter, I've seen that, and he's like something can be done with it.
Yeah.
And for like 3 months or so, we talked about it, but it was one of those things where we never did anything about it. And then somehow
Classic guys.
somehow he convinced me to quit my, at the time it was a stable job at a startup, to move back to Loughborough from New York. I don't know if anyone's been to Loughborough, but don't go.
The people of Leicestershire will be
Yeah.
devastated.
And then we came back, and then we spent about, I'd say, a good 3 months or so just flat out market research. We researched about 100 companies in America because they're quite far ahead, and then
Don't
everything.
Tell them that. I'm unbearable at this.
Tech-wise,
All
yeah.
right, thank you.
So we researched about 100 companies in America, made like a big spreadsheet, who funded them, where are they now, what are they doing well, if they haven't progressed, why didn't they progress, who's using them, everything we needed to know about them. And so the conception of Comb was a bit of a cross between like an aha moment and research based. So
Yeah, I was going to say, because it doesn't, from what you told me, it doesn't sound like you just had
I mean, I like the way my brother dresses, but I didn't make the app, so I could find out without having to ask him. And
that would be creepy. I mean, and how did you told me off camera some really interesting stuff, like part of your origin story. I mean, it's not like Batman, no one's parents got shot, but it's still pretty cool, right? So
I guess, yeah, I mean, it's pretty...
Yeah, I mean, we think of it as fairly normal because you just do it because you have to.
It's your normal, right?
Sort of, yeah.
In that moment, yeah.
To a certain extent, yeah. I guess when we moved to London, well, we got to the point where we were in Loughborough where we were coming to London 2 or 3 times a week, so because it's meetings, fashion.
This is during your final year, was it?
No. This is
2 years, 3 years
I'd
after we
been-
graduated.
Oh, so while you were still
Yeah, so I'd been running the company up in Loughborough for about 4 years. Been running
tech hub that is Loughborough.
Yeah, it's just me pretty much, and maybe one other guy who had internet probably in Loughborough. And then we were working out of a shipping container there, pretty much like no toilet, no heating. It was okay, but obviously it was cheap.
Yeah.
So then we moved to London and wanted to save money because we couldn't really afford rent. We weren't funded at this point, still bootstrapped. So I decided to move into a gym.
Okay, how do you manage that?
So I actually turned up to London with a suitcase, just one suitcase and a sleeping bag. I was like, well, I'll just crash on my mate's sofa for a bit, maybe. And then my friend happened to know someone who owned a gym. He was like, oh, I'm sure you can just crash there. So I went there and just had a mattress in the physio's room for like...
Does not that your mate thought it was a good idea to crash in the gym?
Yeah.
When you're at that stage though,
The squat rack is really coming.
Yeah, so I was in the physio's room,
you can see he's become hench now,
Yeah, your posture looks great.
Yeah, it's fantastic, right? I was there for like 3.5 months, but of course you can't be in there asleep while the gym's open.
So like at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, 6 in the morning till like 9, 10 at night as the gym's open. So I didn't really want to be there while people are in the gym.
No.
So yeah, that was, I mean, you could do the maths, that was pretty much my work day. And it's open 7 days a week as well. So.
Do you want to plug that gym? I feel like you've got to own it.
Yeah, it's in East London. No.
Wow.
Lucky's gym.
And Mo, you were slumming it too, were you?
Relative to him, no, it was not so bad. Just people's couches, family, friends, bouncing around. Although he doesn't live in the gym anymore. He now lives in like a fairly nice apartment with 2 other guys. I got evicted from where I was living, and ended up sleeping on his couch for like 3 months. But it was good because we saved money. We didn't pay rent. We were able to keep costs down, relatively speaking, and it was. Well, I guess at the time we didn't really view it as like, oh, it's so tough or anything like that. It was just like, do it.
Wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's really cool. God, I was gonna say, what's the hardest thing that's happened to you guys? It's a bit obvious.
No, actually,
what are the big
No,
snags that
that's
you
probably
had?
not the worst.
Okay,
Yeah.
what are the biggest snags that
That
you
was
had
fine.
going into? I mean, during the process up to now.
Trademark.
Yeah, we've had a lot of bumpy, big obstacles on the way.
Well, people are dickheads, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most
But-
people, actually no, they are, but then there's a lot of people that will help you as well.
Yeah.
I'd
To
say
any of our
it
friends.
massively outweighs like.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to help.
You do meet a few interesting characters on the way, but most people are actually willing to help.
Yeah.
Particularly even if you put something on Facebook, like you'll get so many messages of people going, "Oh, I can help," and you haven't even heard from them for 6 years.
Yeah.
But they'll listen.
I don't. I thought I tried to get a microphone for this, and I was getting nothing.
Well, to our friends watching, thanks guys.
Yeah.
But we had a big issue with advice as well for people. Invest time and if whatever money you have into like the proper channels. So legal is a big one, and accounting. Don't skimp on that, which is what we did.
Don't skimp on legal. Or
Don't skimp on it.
It's exactly what I've been doing. My stuff.
So don't skimp on legal and accounting, because if at the time it seems like it's not such a big problem, but then if you get to the point where you're getting investment and you've not done your accounts properly or you've not done the legal paperwork properly, it just delays everything.
Yeah.
We didn't do proper. We just thought we'll just Google the laws around trademark and we'll be fine. So we made our name at the time, and it was something different to what it is now. And then it turns out that obviously, not being lawyers, we'd completely misinterpreted trademark law. And another company who had already trademarked kind of came after us.
You allowed to say what the old name was? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it was called Milk. We won't get into why it was called Milk, but it was called Milk.
You're advocates for gay rights. I love that film so much.
So we had it, and then there was a very large company who they actually won an Oscar last night. They're a visual effects company, so their company won an Oscar for visual effects. So you can see how big they were. And they had the trademark, and then another company, it turns out, had a trademark, and then there was a company in America. Then Samsung launched a music streaming service called Milk.
And then they got sued.
And then they got sued by someone. So it was
Nobody's
just,
safe.
No,
Yeah.
not with that name anyway.
Yeah.
So don't start a company called Milk.
So our lawyer was just like, we had a lawyer at one point actually who dropped out on us the day before we had to respond to the trademark suit. And they were like, he's like, yeah, I can't represent you anymore. So
Lawyers are really big like that.
So-
They're like a money pit, right?
So we were just like, we didn't know what to do, two guys. So called in like any favors we had, and then sorted it out. Now Comb actually worked out better for us. We obviously did all the trademark research first, spoke to lawyers, and it's trademarks now. And
It's funny because you mentioned the two things that are an entrepreneur's nightmare: accounting and legal, because they require like having to do spreadsheets or sitting down and doing the monotonous stuff, which is entrepreneurs they hate that stuff.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff, like, I guess you learn it as you go, don't you? So you Google stuff, but accounting is. I mean, you had already had experience with it, didn't you? With
I had
this
because
business.
in my previous business, I knew most of the stages to go through, but still, just finding a decent accountant that you can trust and actually like tells you when stuff's due.
Yeah.
That's like so important.
And there's a lot of like software as well. I mean, you use like
there's like Sage or Xero.
Yeah.
Xero is probably the most popular now.
there's the receipts one as well.
See,
Yeah,
this
and
is
like
literally the most boring part of the conversation.
yeah,
That's the
it's-
most important, right?
Yeah,
One of
it's
them,
To us, it's like thrilling though. Like, oh, this is
Yeah,
great
yeah.
receipt software.
So,
you have to do it.
yeah.
And actually, if you can try and enjoy it, like in a weird way, like predicting how much money you're going to make, then at least it's like a target.
Yeah.
Doing spreadsheets. I mean, it doesn't have to take up all your time. I guess it's because people don't see it as doing anything.
Yeah.
Like they won't see it as like, oh, no, it's not an Instagram post or we're not doing anything cool
Yeah.
because no one else can see it.
Yeah.
But if you can, or find a co-founder who loves doing it, then
It's not. I mean, you can do all the fun marketing stuff, but if you don't have your accounts in order, no one's going to invest in you. So that you have to think of it like that as well. But yeah, so anyone watching this, don't You included, yeah.
Just taking notes. So, I mean, what have you guys got planned next? You just finished. You just wrapped up at Fashion Week, and that was busy for you too, if I remember correctly.
Very.
So,
but
I mean,
very, very good. We met some incredible people.
Yeah.
And, that's just a quick note about the fashion industry. I think there's some misconceptions about how open or closed it is, but people were really nice to work with.
And you guys were working up with fashion bloggers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously with a purpose. I mean, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, they're like.
I guess from the marketing point of view, the audience we're probably reaching, they don't look towards magazines as much or TV. Online TVs now is like taken over. So yeah, bloggers are, that's this emotional connection with them. They're personal, they reach out, they reply. So yeah, I think for us it's, bloggers are so powerful and influential now that we have to be working with them. And also the app actually is beneficial to them because they can create their wish list, they can build a following, very much similar to an Instagram or Twitter, but for the ones that are purely into fashion, then it makes sense because they can build their own profile on there that's purely just fashion.
Yeah, I mean, and they can. Bloggers are so influential, but they're relatable, which is why people like them, because
some of them are.
Some of them are. The ones that like grow huge are like obviously not so relatable anymore, but they're just like your everyday people.
I'd love to be hanging out in the old Melbourne coast every other week.
Pretty much every blogger we've met has been really, really nice. I think it's, again, a misconception of the fashion industry. Yeah. That because they're posting loads of selfies and they're like talking about themselves the whole time, that we're not very nice people, or like they're very up themselves or whatever. That's some like the misconceptions, but pretty much every blogger you meet
they're very
nice,
savvy people because they built business. Like a lot of bloggers are full time and. To be making a full-time wage off of that is like you have to be very clever. Yeah.
Which is a good segue actually. These two have fantastic Instagram feeds, so they're worth checking out. So if you're into like the interior decorating, Liam's your man. If you're into women's feet, Marie's your man. So, but they're both really good feeds. I'd recommend checking them out. Alright, so next on the agenda for you guys, because it's been a big year so far, I reckon. What's anything big coming up?
We are fundraising right now.
Anyone's got any money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to invest in us.
Please, our Emirati fans.
Yeah. We're raising money at the moment. Cross our fingers, we're pretty close to a round at the moment, and that will be. We're going to be investing a huge amount of that into marketing, working with bloggers, influencers, doing campaigns with them, and obviously traditional social media advertising.
It's weird because funding's a weird thing because it's quite an American concept. Here, businesses, if you do well, you'll make money and you can fund yourself. But in America, I think there's a trend towards you do everything in order to get funded. It's like you are good so you can get funding, not good to make money off being good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that's kind of shifting over here as well. I know that from my own personal experience as well. But is that something that's a bit counterintuitive to you too?
Well, we've both been here for so long, so that the investment landscape here is very different to what it is in America. In America, they just throw money at stuff.
They do. It's like the lottery.
Yeah. So whereas here, they're a lot more risk averse. So they're like, what are the risks? How much are you going to make in like month 1, year 2? That like they need to know everything. So that and investment into fashion businesses isn't as prominent right now. Whereas in the US, it's like quite normal. Here, it's all like fintech and things like that. So that's
very British, isn't it? We're going to invest in numbers.
Yeah. So that's been the tricky part, but not anything that's too difficult. It's like. They're both pretty traditional setups, so it's one or the other.
I mean, there's no option where you guys think, okay, we're doing well enough that we can be self-sufficient. Or is it you need just to kind of get to the next level?
Yeah, I think to get to the scale and the user base that you want, then it is a very much cash. You need the cash to get the marketing, get the name out there, and build the user base. That's when the money will come.
you have to find the right investor as well,
Yeah.
because we've seen some businesses in this space and similar spaces that, you know, they get an investor who doesn't know anything about the space.
Yeah.
You know, they just have money and they want to drive the company in the direction of profit, and then that ruins everything. Whereas for us, like we need, like, you know, a few years to kind of get there. So we need an investor who understands that space, that it's more about how many the users, their activity on the app, the data you collect from that.
That brings me to my next question. So I was thinking, like, obviously the cash comes at a price. You know, you have to cough up some equity, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you sacrifice a little bit of control? I mean, are you okay taking input from someone else? Because that's weird. If it was me, I hate taking input from someone else. I think, like, this is my baby. I need to take control of this. And because this is really your guys' baby, I mean, what do? Your baby.
No, we you know, obviously it's equity investment, but we haven't, you know, for us, the most important thing for us is our equity in the company. So we hold on to it for as long as we can. So we haven't, you know, also we can't give numbers, but
but I mean,
that's
in
not,
terms of outside control.
It depends. I mean, it depends. That, you know, if you've got an investor who owns like 1% of the company, then they don't have any rights in that sense, or it depends on the rights you give them when they invest.
Some investors, you might want them involved because they might be really
chairman
powerful.
of ASOS or something.
You might actually think, I do want this person to be quite involved. You'll get, I guess, depending on the investor and how involved you want them. If they own 1%, chances are they're not going to be too, and they're only putting like a small amount compared to their net worth, then chances are they're not going to be too worried about the day-to-day running. Just as long as you keep them updated. Sometimes you don't have a choice though, like, you know, you're desperate for money, so you have to take whatever comes your way, and then like they say, it's better to own 1% of something than 100% of nothing, so think about it like that.
Yeah, guys, thanks very much for coming. Download Comb or look at joincomb.com. I don't know what to say, it's really cool. It's actually quite a fun app. Have a little play as well.
Free.
If you're not, it's free as well, which really helps. We're going to post the guys' Instagrams in the description below. They're worth having a look. Otherwise, anything you guys want to say?
No, download Comb.
Tweet us any feedback as well, because we're always trying to improve it. So any feedback you have is good.
Actually, we do this one thing. We ask our guests to read the last text they have without context. So just the text, either sent or received, just read it without context. Look into the camera.
WhatsApp or text?
Whatever. The last message. So just read the last line dramatically and into the camera with effect.
Maybe not the one.
What's that one? Alright.
Maybe not that one.
Yes, do it.
What happened to Paris?
Thanks for that, Jimbo, you dark horse.
Thanks very much, guys. And next time I'll be sitting down with a different person who does stuff for money. So see you then.
Nah.